The holidays are nearly here, and I've got the perfect gifts for the adventurers in your life, or maybe for yourself. Check out my exclusive holiday merch collection featuring cozy hoodies, insulated mugs, warm beanies, and custom gear you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're curling up with your favorite episode or showing off your fandom on the go, the merch store has something special just for you. Your purchase will support the podcast, enabling me to produce more adventure-packed episodes. Shop now by clicking on Virginia Outdoor Adventures merch store in the show notes of your listening app. Hurry, orders must be placed by December 10th for holiday delivery. From the Blue Ridge Mountains to the Chesapeake Bay, Virginia is a mecca for outdoor travel and adventure. Virginia Outdoor Adventures podcast is your local guide for hiking, camping, kayaking, travel, and so much more. Get the information and the inspiration to plan your own adventure right here in Virginia. I'm your host, Jessica Bowser. What if you could explore a destination that's off the beaten path yet brimming with natural beauty and cultural treasures? Discover the hidden gem of historic Onancock on Virginia's Eastern Shore as we set sail with ecotour guides Mary and Bill Burnham, owners of Burnham Guides paddling shop. Our guests share their insider knowledge of this waterfront town with historical architecture, a thriving art scene, and the perfect backdrop for outdoor adventures like kayaking, biking, fishing, and sailing. Paddle your way through history and nature on Onancock Creek, where Mary and Bill guide us on a memorable kayaking experience, discussing the area's rich wildlife and historical past. The town's off-season charm is anything but dull, with wildlife watching and lively community events like oyster roasts and art strolls. Join us as we unravel the magic of Onancock, where history, art, and nature come together to form one of Virginia's adventure towns. Let's go. This is part 2 of a 2-part episode. Check your podcast listening app for part 1 of this feature on Onancock. Talk a little bit about the Christmas in Onancock events.
So there is a lot going on for the Christmas season from December 4th through the 15th. There's lights on the lawn where 30 Christmas trees will be lit, lining the driveway to Carr Place. There's the Christmas Homes Tour. There's a parade. There's an artisans market, the farmers market. There's plays, there's movies, all going on. And if you go to onancock.org/Christmas, you can find the whole schedule.
I think I just might do that because as I've told you, there is one thing that I really, really want to see, and that is Santa and his reindeer arriving by kayak. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so Santa arrives by boat and with his kayak reindeer. So a bunch of local paddlers get dressed up. They wear reindeer antlers and lead Santa into town by boat. Because we're on the coast, our climate is pretty mild. So that's another reason we can have things like this in December and really be a year-round place to visit.
That's just the cutest thing that I have ever heard of. And whose brainchild was that? I mean, who came up with the idea of Santa arriving by boat?
I think we did.
I love it so much.
Just a suggestion, you could actually be a reindeer if you made the right arrangements.
Could I really? Oh my gosh. Bill, you have just made my day. If I could be a reindeer, oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I might. If I could take you up on that. I mean, talk about like bucket list life experiences. Some people have like, climbing Mount Everest. In my world, I want to be a reindeer bringing Santa into Onancock. That sounds like the perfect thing to add to my bucket list.
We'll work on it.
Okay. Okay. So since we're talking about planning our visit to Onancock, I think we need to include some lodging and dining options for folks. So for people who are starting at step 1, which is finding a place to stay, what would you recommend?
Sure. So we have 4 or 5, actually 2, 4, 5 really quality lodgings. And being a small town, picking 1 or 2 out can be difficult, but we can describe like their features. I think the Inn at Onancock presents like a really fine hospitality, fine dining, or breakfast. and just a really not formal atmosphere, but you really feel like you're at an inn with the service they provide. And directly across the street is our good friend Tom Nolan, who owns the Spinning Wheel B&B. And we've always thought that he had a very laid back, homey vibe there. Still excellent service, excellent food, but you feel like you're going to a friend's house. And then we have, I think the third category I would describe as boutique, kind of whimsical places like the Charlotte Hotel or Maurice that are, not a whole lot of rooms, but just you feel like you're in a special, unique environment. And then a good number of Airbnbs and VRBOs.
Yeah, there's lots of great options. I had the pleasure of staying at the 1890 Spinning Wheel B&B. Tom is just the nicest guy, and he's a darn good cook too. So I enjoyed that a lot. And he was wonderful as far as being a resource and helping me get around town and telling me, where are the spots that I wanted to check out and how to get from point A to point B. So he was a wonderful resource. And I did pop in at the Inn at Onancock across the street, and wow, that place is truly spectacular. It looks like something out of a magazine. The owners there, Kim and Matt, have done a wonderful job with that place. And I also popped into the Charlotte Hotel, and talk about cute, like boutique hotels. That place has a lot of charm too. I met with the manager, and my understanding is they recently bought it from the past owners, and they've been doing some upgrades to the rooms, and I got to pop my head into a few of them. They're really cute too. And they've got a restaurant on site and another restaurant around the corner and a bar that is a little bit more of a speakeasy right in the lobby. And they made me this really amazing drink, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't get to stay in all the places. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for me to like switch rooms every night, but I do try to at least like pop into each place and get a feel for what they're like so that I can share that. And I was really impressed with all the different options there are in town. So that was really nice.
Well, I'm glad that you got to look into the Charlotte. That's a good place.
From the rivers of the Clinch Valley to the mountains of the Appalachians and Allegheny Highlands, across the Piedmont to the pine forest savannas of the Tidewater, throughout waters of the Chesapeake Bay and beyond, the Nature Conservancy is working to create a world where people and nature can thrive. Explore the protected lands of the Nature Conservancy's preserves across Virginia. Many preserves are open to the public and offer hiking, camping, biking, boating, fishing, nature photography, and wildlife watching opportunities. Don't miss the spectacular Brownsville Preserve on Virginia's Eastern Shore, a 1,250-acre historic farm where birds and other wildlife abound. From the boardwalk and trails traversing this historic farm, you may see deer, fox, raccoons, blue herons, bald eagles, wild turkeys, and many other species of birds. Or take a self-guided audio tour on your handheld device. It's like having a naturalist in your pocket. The William B. Cummings Birding and Wildlife Trail offers a round-trip hike of 3 miles through memorable coastal Virginia scenery. Explore wooded uplands, take in expansive marsh views, and enjoy the variety of life all around you. Don't forget your binoculars, field guide, and a camera. Connect with nature at a preserve near you by clicking on the Nature Conservancy in the show notes of your podcast listening app. Where can visitors grab a bite to eat or a morning coffee?
Yes. So for such a small town, we have so many restaurants and such diversity. Starting with breakfast, Foggy Place Cafe has excellent specialty coffees. You can get a breakfast sandwich to go. The Corner Bakery is a decades-long institution that makes incredible donuts and cream puffs. And that is the place to get your sugar fix for sure. Then we have a couple of pub style places. So we have an Irish pub called the Blarney Stone, and there's also a Onancock Tap House, and they both feature a lot of live music. There's something going on probably every night of the week. There's a darts league, there's trivia nights, lots of live music with great local musicians. Of course, there's Mallard's at the Wharf, which is right next to our shop, so close to our heart. Waterfront dining, great crab cakes. Johnny Moe is the musical chef there. And then let me forget. Of course, you mentioned the Charlotte Hotel. Maurice is an inn, but also has a fine dining restaurant downstairs, and then attached to it is a new place called the Coochie Lounge, and it's a very sophisticated vibe for a little small town. It's a great place. They have a complete sushi menu, specialty cocktails. I went with my girlfriends there last night. It's just really cool. And then we have the Market Street Grill, which is also unique. It's family friendly, but it has Greek and Turkish specialties on the menu. We have a deli, La Tavola, Italian pizzas and pastas.
Although it's more like specialty products, it's always worth a stop at the North Street Market. It's our local wine store, olives, olive oils, all kinds of gourmet packaged items. And then equally stunning, attached to it and part of the North Street Market is the At Altitude Art Gallery. Gordon Campbell takes spectacular aerial photographs of scenes from around the shore. And talking about aerial photographs earlier, that would be a beautiful place to get a bigger perspective on not just Onancock Creek, because he can capture the whole of the creek and the countryside around it, but also our barrier islands.
Yeah, that art hanging in the gallery there is stunning. I mean, I stood there and just stared for a while because it's beautiful, beautiful art. And there's gifts and other things for sale there as well. But there are galleries all over Onancock. And, I tried to get into several of them, but they're just fun little places to shop. They're also fun just for window shopping, too. I mean, I think I was walking around after hours one night when everything was closed and I was just looking in the windows of the galleries. And it's great for gift ideas, especially with the holidays coming up. There's so many unique finds and handmade gifts that you're not going to get anywhere else. So I think I'm going to be coming back and doing my holiday shopping there.
Great. We can make you an honorary citizen.
I forgot Bizotto's, which is on Market Street. I believe it's our oldest restaurant in town and just consistently good fine dining. Has a cocktail bar. So Bizotto's Gallery Cafe is excellent.
Yes, I was in Bizotto's and I met the owner, and yes, the food was great. Also, lots of art hanging on the walls. It feels like when you walk into any business, it's never just one thing. It feels like it's always a combination of different things. So they might be selling food. They might also have a bar. They might also be selling artwork. It's like all of these things mixed together, which I really love. It's just a vibe in the town that you don't find in other places. It's really cool. And Mallard's, like you said, you can't miss the crab cakes at Mallard's, and I saw several stunning sunsets from Mallard's. That was really nice. They have outdoor seating too, so if the weather is nice, that's a great place to be. And Coochie really surprised me. Actually, Coochie was the first place that I walked into when I got to Onancock, and I walked in and went, oh my gosh, where am I? I thought I was in a downtown DC restaurant because that is what it felt like. And I was like, am I still on the shore? But they did a really nice job on it. I mean, it feels like something very fancy, like someplace you would go for a special event, but every place is come as you are. It doesn't matter how you're dressed or what you were doing. So if you just finished kayaking and you want to walk into Coochie wearing, whatever you had on in your kayak, like that's totally fine too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We like to say a lot of our restaurants are wet bottoms welcome. So if you come off the water, you can come in, as you said, as you are. And the point about each place kind of being more than one thing, I think is part of the key to a small town business environment. We all do multiple things in order to succeed and be able to live in this really special place.
Mary and Bill, are there any must-see attractions in town?
Did we talk about the Onancock Farmers Market yet? That is an outdoor market where local farmers, watermen, bakers, and crafters come every Saturday morning, spring through fall. And they're going to be having a holiday market November 23rd. And then they'll move inside for the winter market. So it really is year round. You can get your winter vegetables and baked goods even in the winter indoors.
Yeah, and then we usually always point people to the historic Onancock School. We talked about the nature trail that follows the shoreline of the center branch of Onancock Creek. 13 acres compromises the school property. It's our largest green space. It has, of course, recreation fields for local children to play soccer and pickup games. It's got a disc golf course, and then everything else that's inside. And of course, we have to mention the playground, like a state-of-the-art playground. So it draws families, it draws birders, it draws active people, and then all of the studios inside kind of draw the art lovers and just the curious.
And I believe they're building a brand new, is it an amphitheater out back?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So the musical or performance amphitheater is in progress, hopefully with an opening in 2025, but stay tuned to all the local websites for that, especially the Historic Onancock School website. Yeah, we're looking forward to featuring local acts, live outdoor theater performances, maybe some classical music. I really feel like it's going to add a new dimension to the whole experience here.
It sure is, because when we talk about artisans, we're not just talking about painting and sculpting, right? Like there's also international films being shown in town. There's the theater, there's the playhouse. I mean, there's performance art as well in town.
Correct. The theater's big.
Yes, the Roseland Theater is circa 1950s old style theater, but it's been updated to state of the art technology. So we get first run movies in this little town. And there's also Onancock International Film Series, and that's every second Thursday. And they bring in films from all over the world. And it's a really cute theater, and we're so lucky that it was saved. The North Street Playhouse, so much local talent there. And they have year-round series of live performances. There'll be a Christmas performance, and you can go to their website, northstreetplayhouse.org, to get their season.
I should point out that the North Street Playhouse is on Market Street, but it used to be on North Street. And it is a treasure here in town.
And where can people find a complete list of upcoming events and performances? Is there a website?
So experienceonancock.com is the tourism portal. So if you go there, you'll be directed to lodgings, dinings, events. Another good website is onancock.org, which is the Onancock Business and Civic Association, which sponsors events like the Christmas Homes Tour and Second Fridays. You can go there and get a lot of event information as well. And then our website is burnhamguides.com. I should mention that.
That was going to be one of my next questions. How can listeners connect with you, Mary and Bill?
Yeah, burnhamguides.com. We have a page about all our Virginia offerings. You can book online if you'd like, and email or call us anytime.
Yeah, and picking up the phone and giving us a call is a good way to. A lot of people call us and ask us, okay, so I'm planning to come to Onancock. What else is there to do? And we are able to direct them, or they may walk in to our shop and say, hey, we've made it here. Interested in going kayaking, but there's got to be other stuff to do. So when things are humming along in the season, I often feel like we're a little bit of a welcome center, tourism information center.
I'll bet you are. And there are so many fun things to do in town. And this is what I love about the series that I'm doing, Virginia's Adventure Towns, because I get to include things that are not just outdoorsy. Because oftentimes, people travel with family or friends, and maybe their family and friends are not as outdoorsy as they are. So they're looking for a mix of activities, or they're visiting someplace new and they want to experience everything while they're there. And then, of course, there's always the chance that the weather just isn't going to cooperate and you need to find a plan B. It's like, what else am I going to do while I'm here? And people love to explore new places.
We think that our service, kayaking, especially the 2-hour tour, provides a little bit of context to visitors. They kind of come away, as you felt, understanding a little bit more about the town, from anywhere from like, how do you pronounce the name, to why are you here? and how come there are so many beautiful restored houses, and we can cover that. And so we see them come off the water, and they usually walk back up through the center of town to maybe hit a restaurant, or go back to their inn. And I have been told that they just feel like a little bit more understanding about why are these beautiful homes in this area, and that sort of thing. So I think we provide some context for visitors.
Yes, and I think context is really important. Virginia is such a diverse state. You know, Onancock is completely different from, say, Farmville, which is totally different from, say, St. Paul, which is totally different from Urbana, which is totally different from Fairfax, right? Like all of these towns are all very different from each other, even though they're all in Virginia, which is wonderful because it provides such a diverse experience for us as Virginians. If we never left Virginia and all we did was go from small town to small town, we could have new experiences everywhere. And I think it's really fascinating that we have that opportunity. And Onancock is part of Virginia's story. And understanding that story means appreciating what it means to be a Virginian.
Well said.
Our previous life as travel writers and authors. And so in our shop, we also have our books for sale. So our first book was Hiking Virginia, and we have Best Hikes Near DC, and we've written a couple kayaking books too.
Yeah, and you're not just paddlers, right? Like you're hikers and cyclists, and you two do all the things and go all the places.
Well, we love the state. It's been our home for almost 30 years. So.
It's been a very good, and this is a great place to land. As travel writers, we moved around quite a bit in our early career. I used to joke that we never lived in a place more than 3 or 4 years. And now we are 18, 19 years here. So it feels like home.
Okay. Mary and Bill, thank you so much for being guests on Virginia Outdoor Adventures and for sharing your love and passion of the water and of your town of Onancock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Adventure on. Virginia Outdoor Adventures is inspired by and supported by listeners like you, which is why your messages and feedback mean so much to me. You can text me directly by clicking on Send Me a Text Message in your show notes. I answer questions, respond to comments, and share your feedback on the show. Never miss an update. Get even more information and inspiration by signing up for my newsletter. Click on newsletter sign up in your show notes or visit virginiaoutdooradventures.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adventure on.